Hello everyone. The main content of this course will be what are the characteristics of clothing in the Wei, Qing, Northern and Southern Dynasty. After the collapse of the Han Dynasty, a series of feudal local regimes emerged in the south and north of China, including a brief unification in the Western Qing Dynasty, namely the Three Kingdoms, the two Qing dynasties, and the Northern and Southern Dynasties. With the exception of the early Western Qing Dynasty, the Middle Northern Wei Dynasty, and the Southern Dynasties after the Eastern Qing Dynasty. The rest of the period is mostly in a state of free-for-all among separatist forces. After the collapse of the Western Qing Dynasty, wars in the northern region have become more frequent, forcing the Han people in the Yellow River Valley to move southward. They brought advanced technology and contributed to the rapid development of production in the south. During the Han Dynasty, the Qilu region, with textile industry well developed, has begun to decline, while the better weaving techniques started to develop in the south of the Yangtze River, especially the Sichuan figured satin, as the main source of military expenditure for Shu Han. It has increasingly developed at that time. During the Three Kingdoms period, Chengdu has become the largest commercial center in southwest China, and the Sichuan figured satin has been exported to all parts of the country. From the Three Kingdoms to the two Qing dynasties, the bird industry in Sichuan has gradually developed and took the leading position all around China. The weaving technology of the Sichuan figured satin has soon spread to the Wei Kingdom, the Wu Kingdom, and other regions and places where brothers and ethnic groups lived, such as Yunnan, Guizhou, and Guangxi. The colorful Sichuan figured satin has also become the unique traditional clothing of brothers and ethnic groups. The notes on silk embroidery has recorded the story that Zhuge Liang has spread the Sichuan figured satin to the Miao people. Zhuge Liang has encouraged the Miao people to plant mulberry trees, raise silkworms, rear silk, and weave silk. Based on the records of Huayang State, Zhuge Liang has personally painted brocade patterns for the local people and ordered soldiers who knew how to weave brocade to teach the Miao people brocade technology. From records of Liping Prefecture, the Miao people in Rongjiang, Guizhou today has integrated the features of Sichuan figured satin and wove colorful velvet brocade. To commemorate Zhuge Liang's achievements, such brocade is called Wuhou brocade. The Sichuan figured satin has also spread to the region of Jinping, Guizhou, where the Dong people live in. The Dong brocade woven by Dong women is called Zhuge brocade. In addition, the Zhuang brocade from Binyang, Guangxi, has also learned from the technology of Sichuan figured satin, more or less. The cooperation and friendship between the people of all ethnic groups in China in history is just like the beautiful brocade, brilliant and long-standing. The brocade industry in the south of the Yangtze River is not quite developed in the Three Kingdoms period. After the Liu Song Dynasty, the brocade workers in Guanzhong, Shanxi have moved to the south of the Yangtze River and set up a brocade agency. Only then did the brocade industry in the south of the Yangtze River become more developed. Since then, Guangling in the south of the Yangtze River, Dingzhou in the north, and Chengdu in Sichuan has become the three centers of advocate fabrics. By the time of the Northern and Southern Dynasties, the cotton spinning in Xinjiang had already reached a certain scale. Especially the funded cloth, means cotton cloth, is extremely fine and beautiful. The white-fronted clothes has become quite popular with the upper-class nobles in the Central Plains during the Three Kingdoms and the two Jin dynasties. The leaders of the western regions have already taken it as a treasure and contributed it to the rulers of the Central Plains. All kinds of cotton clothes were also introduced into the exchanges between the governments of countries in the South China Sea and the Southern Dynasties. The cotton cultivation in the Three Kingdoms has spread throughout the Zhujiang and Minjiang basins. Therefore, most rulers of the Southern Dynasties also wear cotton clothes. Nevertheless, due to the limited production of the cotton clothes and difficult delivery at that time, the cotton clothes had still not widely used and justified as treasures. At the same time, various ethnic groups in the north have successively entered the Central Plains, and war and ethnic migration have not only promoted the collision and integration of cultures, but also the improvement and development of clothing. Due to the short history of the Wei Kingdom, they don't have great changes on clothing. Since the Northern and Southern Dynasties, the northern ethnic groups have successively taken over the Central Plains and inevitably brought the northern ethnic costumes to the region. Let's talk about the changes in the shape of the cap. The representative cap is called 平上泽 and also called the small crown 小冠. The Jingze has still popular in the Han Dynasty. The very difference from the Han Dynasty is that it is raised behind the ze and the gradually shrinks to the top of the head, which is called 平上泽 or small crown. The small crown can be used by both the superior and the subordinates, and also in the south and the north. It is called the kid crown, 龙冠, when you put a scarf on the crown. The kid crowns are the main crowns of the Three Kingdoms, the two Jin dynasties, and the Northern and Southern dynasties, and they are worn by both men and women. It is also called the black yarn and kid crown, because it is made of black yarn. This picture shows a attendant of the North Dynasty wearing a kid crown, a small crown, and a ku die, the military dress. Now let's move to the fashion of the literati in this period. Since the Wei and Jin dynasties, the combination of metaphysics, Taoism, and Buddhism that widely spread in the society has fostered a general mode of empty talk among scholars. They advocate naivety and despise etiquette. In terms of clothing, they wear loose-fitting shirts with collars wide open and chest exposed. The carving brick of 7 sages of the bamboo grew unearthed at Xishanqiao in Nanjing is a portrayal of the scholar's clothing at the time, which has reflected the inherent relationship between social consciousness and clothing form. Okay, that's all the content of this course. The content of next course will be knowledge points of women's wear in Wei Jin Northern and Southern Dynasty. See you next course.